All righty, there we go. I'm very excited. We are live on Facebook and very, very excited for a lot of partying here tonight. And now we're just trying to see if we can go live with our Instagram friends who are going to be joining us also. And if anyone is tuning in with YouTube, thanks also for joining us. I am here with the fabulous RaeAnne Thayne. I just think this lady is the coolest ever. She's just such a fabulous woman. And RaeAnne, you've been busy. You have already, before this, you were even doing another event, right?
Yes, I have a book group and we meet every month, and it happened to be this particular day. And so we had ours just right before this. I was speaking with another author, but I'm excited to be here talking.
Oh my gosh. So RaeAnne is busy. So I'm very happy to get her. And it's so much fun for us both to be celebrating book releases at the same time here. And I see Debbie is here. You got to the party right on time, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. Zephyr Hills has arrived. There's Pam coming in from Gatlinburg. Thank you guys for joining us. This is just going to be fun. We are going to be chatting about our new books and celebrating, going, woo, yay, us, that we've got more books coming out. And as writers, that's always, book release day is always an exciting day. What was your actual book release day?
Mine is not out until next week. So
I was thinking it came out already. Oh my!
The week after yours. So on Tuesday is the day. So I mean, it's basically, I think many people have already read it.
But so next Tuesday. So guys, she's actually next week. But that's perfect because that gives you guys time to pre-order RaeAnne's book.
Right. Go pre-order it. And you can get a autographed copy at Brenda Novak's store if you'd like a signed copy. She's selling signed ones at her store, and there's another bookstore that's doing autographed.
That is very, very cool. And yeah, I know I've told you all this before, but just to remind you that why authors like to get pre-orders, it's because that first week the book comes out is really important. That's when you're either going to make a bestseller list or you're going to die. Who said die? Is somebody going to cut me off for saying that? You're going to die on the internet. Anyway, that's when it's make it or break it time for authors. And so it's very important to authors to get those pre-orders. So if you want to go ahead and pre-order RaeAnne's book, I know she will be very, very grateful. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I see some more have come in. I see, Emmy Hilton, who I was just talking to last night, has joined us. Cindy's here, hey, and Debbie and Diane, and hey, all our Instagram gang. I'm glad to see you joining us also. Thank you so much. Most of you know how this works. If you're here and commenting, that means that you just might be a winner here. We'll be drawing names from commenters later, and someone's going to win a Sheila book. I'm going to send you a copy of The Man Next Door straight from Amazon. RaeAnne also is going to give away a book tonight. So 2 chances to win, you guys. How fun is that? North Idaho has arrived. Hi, Kathy. Pre-order RaeAnne's book and received Sheila's today. Thank you. And Nancy says she pre-ordered your book too. So that's very good. And Susie telling my hair looks so pretty well. It's at least it's hair. I'm just going to be grateful it's hair. I think most of us are never happy with how our hair looks, but I'm just thankful I've got some. So we're going to leave it at that. Anyway, we're going to get started right away because RaeAnne's got all kinds of family things going on. And so I don't want to keep her too late here. It's like Cinderella. We don't want her to turn into a pumpkin. So and Lisa says she's pre-ordered too. So thanks guys for doing that. And again, we appreciate that because that helps keep us employed and make sure that your book is going to come. So that's very fun. Illinois is here. Hi, Julie Miller. Have both your books pre-ordered. Thank you very much, Randy, Julie Miller. So we're very excited. So let's get right to it. I asked this before, but some of you might not have heard me ask this of RaeAnne. Do you remember how many books you are up to now? Do you have any idea, or if you lost count? How many have you written so far?
I do remember because I had to keep a file to remember, and every time I write a new book, I put it in there. So I say this book is number whatever. Wow. So I'm at 78 right now. So the Rainy Day Bookshop is 78. I have finished 79. And I'm starting 80 right now. So
that's awesome. You're gonna make 100, girl. That's very cool.
I don't know. The industry is weird right now, and if I can make 20 more bucks, that'll be a miracle, I think. But
I know. If I could just get 2 more, I would be happy. Yeah, you guys, we were talking earlier. It really is crazy times in publishing right now, and everybody is worried. Of course, many of you have seen all the controversy about AI, which people are actually trying to use that to write books and just be able to bang them out. And I know RaeAnne feels like I do, that this is just not right. This is cheating. You got to use your own brain power to write your book. And I don't know, I'm assuming, are you part of that class action?
I had 40, more than 40 books in that. So AI, basically, they used our books to train their AI. And that's the really sad part, is they took our books and they're using that to train AI to write books that are going to put us out of business. So it was our books that they used to train. And so basically there was a settlement with Anthropic that they're going to pay authors a certain amount for each book that they stole. They got them illegally. If they had purchased them, it would have been slightly different and been acceptable, but they stole them from illegal pirated libraries online and then used that to train their models. And so
which is they took 23 of mine, so I was not very happy. So I'm glad. So it's wrong, guys, and let's try and support authors who are using their own brains and not be supporting I know a lot of you, if you're on Instagram with me, you saw me squawking about that too earlier, that the CEO of Barnes and Noble is like, well, if it's labeled, we'll just sell some AI books and won't be hurting anybody. I'm like, are you kidding? That's going to be hurting a lot of people, like many of us who are just trying to get shelf space there already, who are traditionally published, and a lot of indie authors who've been trying to get into Barnes & Noble, and we're all going to get kicked to the curb for AI. So it doesn't make us happy, but we're going on a bunny trail. We're going to come back to being celebrating, because right now we're just happy we have books out, and that is much to be grateful for. Right.
It is. So, absolutely.
And speaking of work, though, some of you may not know this. Some of you may, but some of you may not. RaeAnne, tell us what you did before you became a writer.
So I've always kind of been a writer, but just different ways. I worked as a journalist for about 10 years. So I was a reporter first for a couple of years, and then I became a news editor at a daily newspaper. So I was responsible for choosing the wire stories that went in our paper. I would design the pages, the news pages, and that was basically my job for about 7-8 years. I'd sold my first book while I was working at the newspaper. So I was working there, but I was trying to write a romance novel at the same time. And then I did sell, and I had sold like 5 books before I quit to write full time. So that's basically what I did.
That's pretty cool, though. Was there a reason why you did that shift and said, I just don't want to do this anymore, I want to write?
I really just wanted to write. I enjoyed the journalism part of it, basically because I enjoyed feature writing. I enjoyed talking to people. I wasn't very good at the hard news kind of thing. I didn't enjoy that part of it, with people mad at you all the time. But I enjoyed interviewing people, and I learned that, everybody has a story. And that was maybe one of the great things. I learned a lot. I took a lot from my journalism career that has helped me in my book writing career. The fact that, writing on deadline and writing fast and getting the story out there, in not a lot of words. That's kind of one of the things I learned. And then dialogue. I listened to people talk for a long time, and I was able to sort of take that into my writing world. There are things I miss, and I miss the fact that it used to be so important to a community. A newspaper used to be so important to a community, and now nobody even, we get it, and I never read it. My husband reads it sometimes. He likes the obituaries. He reads the obituaries. Weird. But I don't ever read the newspaper anymore. I read the news. I'm a news junkie, but I read the digital version of the news, so.
Yeah, I hear you. So it's just different times, and things do keep changing. And I guess the bottom line to whatever our field is, you always have to be ready to pivot and ready to do something new. But hopefully, storytelling will be still around in some form or the other.
I agree. I think there will always be a place for creative people. People will always need what we bring to the table, because the thing about AI is it might be able to tell a story, but it's not going to have the same heart that those of us who have been writing for a long time can bring to the page. So you will never find that in an AI written book.
I think that's well said. Well, speaking of books, tell us a little bit about your upcoming book about the Rainy Day Bookshop.
So basically, this is a story about a woman in the sandwich generation. So she's a grandmother. She was young, and she has a young daughter, and her daughter's 25 and her granddaughter's 3. And so she was young when she had her daughter, and her daughter was young when she had a daughter. But they've been estranged for the past about 10 years after Rosie, that's the main heroine, her husband died in a tragic accident. And they both dealt with it very, very difficult in a different way. And so the story is about them trying to come together and heal their relationship, but there are, of course, romances involved. Rosie meets this author who writes fantasy novels, and she hates fantasy novels. She hates his books, and she owns this bookshop in a little town in Oregon, and presses her daughter to come back and help her run this bookshop, while her mother, who's been running it, is on the injured list. And so Emma comes back to town with her daughter to heal her relationship with her mom. She meets up with a guy that has always had a thing for her. So there's two romances going on, and it's lots of fun it was lots of fun to write.
Very, very fun. Sounds so charming. And we all love stories set in a bookshop. It's just always so fun. Who doesn't love a bookstore? And gosh, there are some cute, there are all these indie romance bookstores popping up around the country. Does anybody live near a romance bookstore, by the way? If you do, just let me know, give me a shout out and what the store is. I actually contacted quite a few with the new book and said, hey, this features a romance bookstore, and maybe they would like to take it. I know some of them are carrying mine. I'm sure a lot are going to be carrying yours too. So
there are a couple new ones in Utah, actually. I did an event for one in Orem, Utah, that's called Lag Bookstore, and it was a fabulous store and so much fun, and what a great community. And it's all this, it amazes me the changes that you and I have both seen in the industry since we started, where we were kind of the ugly stepchild, where people didn't want to talk about the romance novels, and now that's the thing. There's all these romance bookstore pop-ups all over the place, and it's
a thing. Women are finally coming into their own and saying, hey, what we read is good stuff. Melanie says, we'll be buying these 2 new books from my local indie bookstore. All right. Phoenix Books and Brews this weekend. Oh, how fun. Thanks for supporting your local bookstore. That's really cool. Oh, Love Struck in Seattle. Yes, that is a really good one. And Beguiled is another one in Seattle. It's in Pioneer Square. It's so cute. I visited them, and gosh, what a darling store. They're so cute. So RaeAnne, if you weren't writing, would you want to own a bookstore?
Oh, yes, that's my dream. That would have been my dream had I not been a writer.
Really?
And even at one point, I still thought, well, Nora Roberts has her own bookstore, and I thought I live in a community that doesn't really have a bookstore, and I thought I should open one where I can bring in romance-friendly people and have events and things like that. But I didn't have the energy to do that with my life, and so that was a dream that never happened. But yeah, I would love that. I would love, because I love books so much. Obviously, I wouldn't be a writer if I didn't love books and love the written word like I do, and bookstores have always been a haven for me. And so I love the idea of being able to introduce other people to books that I love, and, helping them discover something that's perfect for them. And that might be a gateway book to them discovering, a new genre that they haven't read before. I think that would be fun. What about you?
I always thought, well, 2 things. I always thought I'd like to be a publicist because I love all the promotion things and the parties and doing all that fun stuff. I'm still trying to find my inner introvert. She's got somewhere, but I think that would be fun. But the other thing I always thought I would love to do would be to have a tea room. I don't know if any of you ever went to Debbie Macomber's tea room or not. That was in Port Orchard, and I loved it. It was pink. The building was pink, and it was so cute. And I'd love to have. In fact, it's a few years back, there was a house for sale, this old Tudor that just was vintage and gorgeous. And I thought, oh, I want to buy that and make a tea room. And of course, Earhart, that's always the practical one, is like, no, we're not going to do that. But I'd love to own a tea room and have lots of chocolate. And of course, books for sale in the gift store. But so we're all into books. Lisa says, living in a rural town, I have to go 25 miles to find a location, or even Barnes and Noble. Oh, that's hard. That's very hard. But if any of you are near an indie bookstore, I want to encourage you to support them, because these people are they're working hard to make a living, and all. But you know what? Any bookstore. I even though I'm not very happy with the CEO of Barnes and Noble, those are all actually kind of run as individual stores now instead of under the big corporate umbrella. And so, if you have one of those nearby, or wherever somebody nearby that's selling books, you're keeping the people who work there in business too. So, and of course, we always say, because we're all on budgets, and if you can't afford to run out and buy every single book of all your author friends, because we're all so prolific, then make sure that you're going to your local library and request that they buy a book, because libraries will also bring in books, and that helps people, who don't have the money to go out and buy a book. So
right. And you can also, if you're on Libby or any of those platforms. You can also request books through those. And if you are on a waiting list and they see that there are a lot of people on a waiting list for a particular book, they'll often buy another copy of that book, which does help the authors as well.
Yeah, which is a great thing. Oh yeah, Randy Julie Miller is quoting, yes, 2009 August. Debbie had her Cedar Coves Day. They made the whole town of Port Orchard had a big celebration in honor of all Debbie's books. So that's pretty fun. Anyway, so yeah, for those of you who live rural, we're perfectly happy with you buying on the big A. And the other thing, of course, when you do buy a book, if you can review it, even if you didn't totally love it, say, I didn't totally love it, but here's what I like, I'll give it 3 stars or whatever. Of course, none of us, we all want 4 and 5 stars, but anything that gets the algorithm boosting. So just keep that in mind, guys, when you're purchasing books. Reviewing them is really also appreciated. But anyway, so enough about that. Let's move on to my next question. Oh, yes. Who was your favorite character in this book? Do you have a favorite character?
Well, I loved all the characters, but the one who really touched my heart from the beginning was Bryce, who is the secondary hero to Rosie's daughter, Emma. And I loved him because he had such a rough life. His mom basically raised him by herself, and she had a lot of substance abuse issues, and he kind of raised himself and got himself going to school and things like that. And he had a lot of learning disabilities, and so he never felt like he was smart. But now he's got this great, successful life, whereas Emma had gone off the deep end after her dad died and was homeless for a while. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, she has all the piercings and the tattoos and all the things. She comes back to town, and he's the one now who is the golden child, and she's this rebel, where it used to be, the roles used to be reversed. He was the teacher's pet.
Interesting.
And I loved writing their story. And originally, when I started the book, I wasn't in his point of view. I was only going to write about Rosie, Andrew, and Emma. Andrew's Rosie's hero. And as I got writing their story, I was like, I got to be in his head too. So I've got 4 points of view, which I don't think I've done before in a book. So it was lots of fun.
Very interesting. By the way, I'm watching as the comments are coming in. It just went by. Whoever just came in late, that's okay. We're glad you're here. And oh my gosh, my songwriting buddy, Ed, has showed up. Hey, Ed. You're the lone rooster in the coop here tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Tell me about who's your favorite character in your book?
Oh, boy, well, we're going to get into that. But first, I do have to circle back. Randy Julie Miller had said, I took my job and she's now doing a different position. But got to be able to pivot, guys. We got to be willing to pivot. But anyway, so yeah, favorite characters. I love, so in this book, we've got mother-daughter who own the indie romance bookstore in Seattle. And the daughter's name is Alice Willoughby. And she's just sweet. She's shy and introverted and doesn't have too much confidence. And love is not her specialty except on the shelf. She has a real gift for matching people up with exactly the book that they need where they are. And so I love her. I love the bookstore. But Houston, we got a problem. My main character. Oh my gosh. So I got to take a minute. It seems like I'm all over the internet defending the evil Parker Black. So Parker, the hero in this book, is a shock jock. And he has been scarred and has decided someone needs to defend men. And Parker did kind of come into being because I was seeing so many posts on social media about men, and they're all bad and they're horrible. And remember, I don't know if RaeAnne, do you remember the whole choose the bear thing? Do you remember that? If you were alone in the woods, would you choose to be with a man or a bear? And they're all, I choose the bear. I'm going, what is wrong with you guys? What kind of men are you meeting? Because all the men I know happen to be really good guys. My husband's great. My son's great. My friends are married to great guys. And RaeAnne, how about you? Do you know any really horrible men that you would rather choose the bear over?
No, I don't associate with them. I'm lucky enough, I guess, that most of the guys I know. But I will say I know where people are coming from with that, because you know where a bear, what their intentions are, and that's a little more upfront and easy to deal with. And you sometimes don't know what some men's intentions are. So.
Well, that's a good point. But I was not thinking that point when I came up with Parker, who was going to be, the hero of all mankind. And so he really is a stinker. And I've had, he's abusive and he's misogynist and it's just terrible. I couldn't read this. He's not a hero. And but he does have a character arc. By the end of the book, he has figured out that romance novels are good for the soul and that he's been a jerk, which I think is good. And I got to thinking, guys, I mean, some of the most long-lasting heroes in literature were both jerks. And do you want to, before I say who they are, RaeAnne, want to take a guess of any hero from a classic book who was actually a jerk? And you guys can feel free to ring in too. Anybody
Mr.
think
Darcy,
of someone?
you know, Mr. Darcy was a jerk through a big part of that book.
Bingo. Did anybody else catch Mr. Darcy and how he behaved at the beginning of that book? Oh my gosh, she's not nearly handsome enough to tempt me. Can you imagine a guy saying that in this day and age? Oh my goodness. And he's prideful and stiff-necked and really, and even his proposal. Do you guys remember the scene where he's first proposing to Elizabeth Bennet? Well, I have to do, your family's awful, you're awful, but would you marry me? And you're like, no, I don't think so. So that's one. And can anybody think of another famous classical hero who really was not our typical? These days we want our romance heroes. We want to slay dragons for us. They have to be buff, beautiful, with a tender heart, and the most wonderful, perfect man on the planet. But can anybody think of a classic hero? I'm looking. I don't see it coming in, so I'll go ahead and say it. How about Mr. Rochester and Jane Eyre? He was not all that nice to the governess. And then besides that, it's like, well, heck, I really want to marry you. Let's get married. Well, never mind that woman I have hidden in the other wing, my mad wife. I'm just going to be a bigamist. I mean, come on, really? Oh my goodness. I'm not sure either of those guys would fly in today's romance market. Do you think they would, RaeAnne?
Absolutely not. No. And even some of the books that I started reading, 30 years ago, those characters just wouldn't fly anymore. For the most part, I will say, like the Harlequin Presents, heroes can be a little more domineering and arrogant because that's the readers are looking for of those particular books. But for other books who are mainstream novels, you have to have a hero that can be relatable for today's man, I think, and woman who maybe that's what they're looking for, not the arrogant take charge jerk who's
no. We want them to be a total alpha male, except for with us, and then we need to be able to walk all over them in our high heels and stomp under the ground. That's a Sheila assessment, but this is interesting. Yeah, Nicole says exactly. Sheila was shocked by some of your Amazon reviews. I was too, but I guess this book's gonna be controversial. So Parker could be the end of me. I don't know. I love it. Nancy says, from what I understand, Mr. Darcy could have used a good kick in the butt. Oh my gosh. So, there you have it. But the thing with writers, it's so interesting because once we get in our writing world and we were with those characters, it's not like we've got a chorus singing in our ear going, wait, what are you doing? Or you just think it's a wonderful idea at the time. And then later I'm going, so part of me like, man, maybe Parker shouldn't have been such a shock jock at first, but I was very happy for how he turned out in the end. But a lot of people are not. Oh, Heathcliff and Catherine, Melanie says, yeah, they had a very strange relationship, didn't they? So it's very interesting, but things change, tastes change, styles change, and
society changes slightly, and we have different expectations of men, I would say, than maybe people did some time ago.
No, I think you're right. And different times and culture was different back then, so the way some of those gentlemen behaved was just how it was, so nobody thought anything of it when they were bringing it, when they were reading. So this brings me to a question for you then, RaeAnne. Have you ever created a character that you thought, oh, I need to fix this one, or one that later on you thought, gosh, I'm not so sure about, or have you always end up liking all your characters?
I like the characters that I've written in a way that I want the readers to like. There have been occasionally I've written characters. I can think of one in particular where I took a person who was a villain in previous books and made her the heroine of other books.
Oh, interesting.
And so, especially that was in my Hopes Crossing series. And I had a woman who was really the bad girl, Bridezilla in that one, and just mistreated everybody in town. And then basically her fiance, she found out, was cheating on her and broke things off. And so I wrote her story later, and she became one of my favorite characters because I took her from someone that I didn't like and my readers didn't like to someone who became, she had reasons for the way she acted, and I tried to show those in the book. So anyway.
Well, they do. And somebody once told me you can get away with anything as long as you justify it, but I'm not sure that's right. because people really don't have much tolerance these days. We don't have much tolerance for much of anything. If those of you who spend a lot of time scrolling on social media probably can attest to that. We're not very patient with anything about anything.
Right.
And so kind of interesting times that we live in, but there you have it. So speaking of heroes, then, who's the best hero you think you've ever written in a book?
The best hero I've ever written in a book. Ooh, that's really hard. As recently, I would say Bryce. I really loved Bryce, even though he was this kind of the secondary hero of this book. I loved Andrew. He's a writer who I really related to because he's on deadline in this book and is stressed about being on deadline. And he's moved his kids. He's a widower. He's moved his kids to this town, and he's like, "Why did I do this right now when I got a book due?" And so that was a lot of fun to write him. I guess historically, some of my favorite heroes, I guess I was talking about the character who was a bad girl in my previous books, and I loved her hero. He was a wounded veteran and had lost his arm and lost part of an eye, because
wow.
veteran. And so it was basically a Beauty and the Beast kind of a story, but he was really at heart the good person in their relationship. So that was lots of fun. And that book that's the one that Harlequin has never reprinted, where they've gone back to All My Hopes Crossing books and have put them out again in paperback, but they've never done that one for some reason. And so I would like to get rights back so I can put it out there, but you can still get it. The ebook it's Christmas in Snowflake Canyon is the title of that one.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that's an important kind of hero, somebody who has survived, and yeah, he's not the gorgeous perfect, but he's perfect inside and with his heart, so I love that. By the way,
handcuffed together, which was my favorite thing to write, because they ended up getting arrested at the same time in a bar fight, and so they're handcuffed in the backseat of a police car. It was fun.
Real quickly, a hi, Maureen, who came in late. Corrine was a little late, no problem. If you come in late, guys, no worries, because of course this will be living on YouTube and be up for a little while on Facebook. So you can feel free to circle back and watch the parts that you missed. So no problem. And if you did come in late, you probably figured this anyway, because we do it all the time. We have gifties to give away that we're going to be giving away to some lucky winner here. RaeAnne's going to be giving away a book. I'm going to be giving away a book. And guys, my Instagram guys, I keep trying desperately to make note of names, and then I go looking for you afterwards. I can't find you. So I'm going to do something a little strange right now. And I'm just randomly, I was looking through names, booty boo, randomly. I'm just going to shout out a name. And what you need to do is message me and say, Sheila, you picked me. You got to be US guys, because postage is just, I'm sorry. I apologize. Our poor Canadian ladies who are so loyal to come to these. And eventually postage will come down, and then we'll make sure that we have you in on these. But for right now, if you happen to be Michelle _ W1977 on Instagram, I just randomly went, there's a name. If you would like to get a book, you need to message me on Instagram and let me know your address, and I will send you a book as a thank you for joining us live on Insta. Somebody else is going to win too. We'll randomly go and pick a name after we're done chatting here, and you'll receive a RaeAnne book. So just like to make it good for all of you. And yeah, Pam is like, postage is awful. It is, and I'm really sorry. I keep saying at some point we're going to do something for the Canadian ladies, bookmarks or something, that are affordable to send. So don't give up. Anyway, that's that. Now, the other thing I was going to mention is Christmas. Christmas is coming. In fact, one of my favorite heroes is in my upcoming book, Have Yourself a Merry Little Meltdown. That's about the longest title on the planet. And my little guy in that, Charles Pine, he's a nerd, but he's just loyal, and he's loved this woman since freshman year in high school. And she's just a walking, all kinds of crazy stuff is happening with her. He just keeps getting sucked in. And I just love him. He's so patient, and I'm hoping he's going to win the girl by the end. But RaeAnne, you've got a Christmas book coming out too, right? Or am I delirious? Don't you?
Yeah, Christmas book, yes. Mine is called Cozy Little Christmas.
Oh, what a cute name. Oh, I like that title. That's very cute. So we may have to do some celebrating come Christmas too, guys, but keep your eyes peeled for that. Can you just give us a teaser on what your Christmas book is going to be?
Sure. It is about a music therapist, and she had her heart broken 10 years ago, and now this guy's back in town, and together they have to give a good Christmas to these two little kids that she ends up taking in because their mom's having some health problems. So
wow.
Road trip involved. There's just all the Christmas fun.
That
Christmas
says Hallmark
concert.
to me. Hallmark, knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a great Hallmark movie. So maybe, who knows? You never know, right?
Right.
And we do love Christmas. That's still my favorite holiday. I don't know about you, but it's still my favorite.
Me too.
So,
Favorite.
and guys, we'll be doing a lot of come July. I'm going to be doing some odds and ends of fun things for Christmas in July. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And now, RaeAnne, I know everybody who doesn't know who RaeAnne is. Oh my gosh. But in case they don't, where can they find you? And also, are you doing any more signing events, or was the one you just did, is that it? Do you have anything coming up where you're going to be appearing?
I actually do. Anybody who's in the Utah area, Books A Million is opening up a new store in St. George, and I will be helping with the ribbon cutting for that.
Oh, fun.
We're doing a signing. So that's a week from, it's on the 5th, I think, a week from Friday, anyway, is the date of that one. So I will be in St. George, Utah. Come and see me, because I would love to see you all there. If anybody.
Very cool. Very cool. And online, I know you've got your website, right? Where else can they find you?
I'm on Facebook at author RaeAnne Thayne. I'm on Instagram at author RaeAnne Thayne. I'm on TikTok occasionally. I don't go on there very often, but I try to post when I can. Basically all the places. And you can also subscribe to my newsletter, which is where you'll find out a lot of good information about my books.
That's a great idea, guys. And yes, if you'd like to, my June issue is coming out here right around the corner, and then I always take July and August off, and then we kick up again. But Super You, and you can sign up for that on my Sheila's Place website. So there you go, guys. That's it. That's all of the cool stuff about us. That's what's going on. And I'm glad you all could join us tonight. And I hope you have a good time hearing all about what's going on with RaeAnne and talking about heroes and bad heroes in literature. Anyway, I appreciate you taking time to be with us, RaeAnne, because I know you have so much going on right now.
No, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I'm always happy to talk to Sheila. It's so much fun. I miss seeing you in person. Hope we can connect sometime and do something together.
Someday. I keep trying to talk RaeAnne to going to that Reader's Cruise with me, you guys, but so far I haven't. But I won't give up. Anyway, thank everybody for joining us. We're going to say bye first again to our Instagram people. Loved having you with us, you guys. Thank you for taking time to join in with the fun. And there will be more in the future, so keep an eye peeled. So goodbye to them. And then also, again, our Facebook guys, thanks again so much for taking time to join us. It's been good fun. If you missed everything, this will be up for a while on Facebook, and then it will be living indefinitely on my YouTube Sheila Roberts channel. So thanks again. Have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.